Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you all for being here on this lovely Sunday. I'm so happy to be here, and I really want to thank Lama Matt for his kindness and for hosting me here. I've had such an amazing experience, and for all his patience and kindness. He was on top of everything. He made my stay so wonderful, and thank you for Gabi and Andrea and Nicole, all of them, for taking me out. I really enjoyed my stay here, and the weather has been so fantastic. On Friday it was sunny, and then on Saturday it has been beautiful, and today is another perfect day. So when I go back to New York, I'm going to say Kansas has the perfect weather. We have everyone competing. Florida has wonderful weather, but I'm going to say Kansas has the best. So I've had such a wonderful experience. I want to thank Rime Center. So Lama Matt has already introduced me. I'm Lama Aria Drolma, and I live in New York, upstate in Dutchess County. That's where our monastery is. It's Kajatuptan Choling Monastery. And I completed my 3.5-year retreat program there, because we have the men and the women's retreat program. And currently the 9th session is going on, which means there was the first session, 3.5-year retreat, the second one, the third one. So I did the 8th session, and then now the 9th session is going on. So today I want to, before I go ahead and teach a little bit of calm abiding meditation, I want to tell you a little story of my life before becoming a nun. I'm an ordained nun now, and I started going. So I'll show you a little story of myself. So this was my life before. And I was living in New York City. I grew up in India, and at the age of 21, I had this opportunity to model, and so it took me everywhere. I lived in Hong Kong, I lived all over the world, and this was me in New York before I became a monk, a nun. So this is me going to all the events and all the parties, and I have been in the fashion industry for the past, before I became a nun, for the past 20 years or so. And then, although I had all these wonderful experiences, life's experiences, it was always going to one event or the other. And New York City is just amazing. There's so much to do there. But there was always something missing. I was never very happy. I always was looking for another new experience, another event perhaps, or another country to go to. And it was always that pursuit of looking for happiness. And one day, when I was very young, my father would introduce me to transcendental meditation, and I said, it's high time I start meditating. And so it was my New Year's resolution, 2008, that I should go and start meditation. So I did a lot of research, because I wanted to go to a very authentic center, and I found the Kagyu lineage, a center in Manhattan, where they had the weekly meditation classes every Wednesdays. So I went there, and it was such a wonderful experience. And then within 10 days of being there, our Lama from the monastery came to visit the city to give us empowerment. And he gave us the Chenrezi empowerment. There are so many tankas there, which is the Chenrezi there. And when I saw my teacher, I immediately understood in my heart. He was an unconditional embodiment of loving kindness and compassion. And at once I said, this is the right place. And that's how my journey, my spiritual journey started. So how many newcomers we have here? Wonderful, welcome. So this is how I started and ended up being an ordained nun. So this is my Rinpoche, Lama Nola Rinpoche. And if you see in the very corner, this is when we went he took us all to India. Before the retreat, he's shaving my hair. And then that's me after having my head shaved. And we are receiving all the empowerments. And if you see at the background, you see the monastery there. It's in Papung. It's in Bir, India, Himachal Pradesh, and it is Thai Situ Rinpoche's monastery. It's an amazing monastery. There are over like 600 monks there. So that's where we shaved our head. I became ordained nun, and we got all our empowerments when we go into the 3.5-year retreat. So here I am. Then after the 3.5, after getting all the empowerments, we came back to New York, back to a monastery. And in the top pictures where you see me with the red shatra, the hat, and the whole line, we are now going into the retreat. It's a procession. We are all the nuns and monks, we are praying and going into the retreat house because it's a huge ceremony. And why is there such a huge ceremony? The ceremony is about, creating no obstacles for us and empowering us and calling on all the deities to protect us. So, and a lot of parents and everybody is there to see all of us out. And then the picture below that, you see us all forming a line and walking. That's when we came out of the 3.5-year retreat. And so we all survived. Everyone who went there, 7 and 7, boys and 7 women, we all completed our 3.5-year retreat. And then, where we are sitting, this is our shrine room, the old shrine room. We're all sitting there with our yellow robes. And our Rinpoche is, talking to all the families and welcoming them. And then we also get a certificate that now we are Lama and we can teach. So in the tradition, nobody can one day start wearing robes and teach, which is really a good thing. So we are all trained. And then I'm now in that picture below. This is my life currently. So I wanted to share the story with you all. So that's where I started. This was in the year 2008, and I currently live in Kajutupten Choling Monastery, and I'm ordained nun. I teach everywhere. I was very happy. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you again all for coming in and to share my story. So before I became ordained nun, one of the big questions is, why do we want to meditate? And most often, when we ask people, why do you want to meditate? The answer always is, I want to be happy. I want to have a peaceful state of mind. But most often, in pursuit of happiness, what we tend to do is, we always think that the external world offers us happiness. So here we are chasing a new job, the new car, the new house, and then everything in the pursuit of happiness. We go and seek. We think our new car is going to make us happy, the new gadgets, or only if I had this, if I have a job, a promotion, this, everything. So, which is all good. There's nothing chasing your dreams, nothing wrong in chasing your dreams and wanting all the best for your life. But the problem is, we see them having inherent ability to make us happy. And this inherent quality, those objects and things, it doesn't have. Because why? Because everything changes. The car we had, the new car we had, in a week, we've gotten over it. The new relationship we thought is going to make us happy, we see it has a lot of challenges. And so the most important thing to understand is these external phenomena constantly changes, like nature. So there's the morning, and then night happens, and then the weather. There's summer, there's spring, fall, winter. So everything is the only permanent thing is change. So if you understand this and accept this and don't put any inherent thought that that object or that thing is going to make me happy, then you're in a very good space. So it's all good to have all your dreams fulfilled, but that's the most important thing to understand. Everything changes, and I'm going to flow with this change. So, but Buddha said, yes, there is a way to find lasting happiness. And how? Lasting happiness you can find with practicing meditation. And how does meditation help you? Meditation has the ability, meditation is one of the best things out there where it can bring a peaceful state of mind. And when you have a peaceful state of mind, you have a joyful state of mind. And when you have a joyful state of mind, you have happiness. And that's why it's so important to practice meditation. And meditation is an absolutely simple technique, and I'm going to give you a very simple, but it's very, very profound. So don't be fooled by the simplicity of the technique. So, you know, Buddha was asked, what have you gained from meditation? And you know what he said? He replied, nothing. However, Buddha said, let me tell you what I lost. I lost anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, fear of old age, and death. I thought it was a brilliant answer. So this is what meditation has the ability to do. And most often, we always want to put our time in any pursuit, yoga, to have a good body, or meditation. But it's not about gaining something with meditation. It's about getting rid of all these mental afflictions. That's so important. And getting within, finding this true nature within you, which is a Buddha nature. The word Buddha means wisdom. That's all. It's a name. So in us all, inherently, we have this wonderful Buddha nature, which is of loving kindness and compassion. And that's what we're going to unfold. And how can we unfold it? Through our meditation. Because when we have a peaceful and happy state of mind, that comes out automatically. So today I'll be teaching you calm abiding meditation, and calm abiding meditation is known as Shinne in Tibetan and Shamatha in Sanskrit, and Shi means peace and Ne means to abide there. So when you start this Shinne meditation, you will not only need a calm state of mind, you also need to abide there. So it's a literal translation, Shinne, which means peace. You can say calm or peace, and name is abiding there. And so when we practice calm abiding Shinne meditation, the mind needs a very key factor. What does a mind constantly do? The mind is jumping from one thought to another, one thought to another. And if you were to look at all these thoughts and connect all the dots, they really don't make a lot of sense. The thoughts just arise. You'll be probably looking at the flowers here and saying, oh, I forgot somebody's birthday, This beautiful flowers has all now become an anxiety for you. I've forgotten somebody's birthday. They're going to be really upset. So this is the nature of our mind. All our senses create thoughts, emotions. And this is how when we have when we learn, and really literally meditation is training your mind. And yoga is also training your mind, but it also trains your body. And this is what training your mind is. So when we start the meditation practice, there's only two essential points. One essential point is your body posture, and the second essential point is your mind. So what does the mind need? Now the mind, because it jumps from one thought to another, it needs an anchor. It needs a focus. It needs an attention. So that attention can be an object in front of you, it can be a sound, it can be a smell, it can be taste, it can be tactile sensation, it can be various things. And that's why there are so many different techniques of meditation. So today what we'll do, we will use the mind's attention on our breath. We'll use our breath as an anchor, a focus. And remember, it's not that really strong concentration. It's a bare attention. When you put your attention on your breath, it's almost like you're watching the sunset. Your focus is on the sunset and everything going around there, but that's how it is. It's like, in the Tibetan tradition, they talk about a shepherd, how he's gazing at his sheep, but he's still aware of everything that's happening. So it's bare attention. It's not concentration. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, there are two essential points when you start meditating. One is your mind. The mind needs a focus, and today we're going to be putting our focus on our breath. And the second point is your body posture. So there are 7 points of body posture, and it's called Vairochana's 7 points of posture. And this posture was something that nobody made up, last year or something like that. This happened even before Buddha's time. They found this posture to be so enhancing the meditation. And just the posture alone, you can write volumes. And so I'll go through these postures, and do know all these postures. If you have any backache or anything, just ease into it. And most important, to have a very comfortable body posture. Okay? So if you're sitting on the chair, perfectly all right. And the most important thing is, when you're sitting in the chair, is to have your back straight. It's best not to lean on the seat, because as you develop your meditation practice, you want to see the nature of your mind, and the back seat sometimes hinders that. And so to keep your feet firmly parallel on the ground when you're sitting on the seat, and your back's as straight as you can, very comfortable. And for all of you who are sitting on the floor, perfect. You can do the lotus position, like how the Buddha has, and you can have a ease. There's another way to have your feet a little bit outside, which is comfortable for you, and having a cushion really helps. And do know that while you're meditating, if you feel like adjusting, if you feel like moving, if you feel like shifting, and if you want to sit in the chair, perfectly all right. And if anyone from the chair wants to sit on the floor, that's also great. So you can do any of that. If you feel like coughing, please go ahead and do so. It's totally fine. Okay. So as you're sitting on the floor, yes, be comfortable. Your back again should be straight as you can. And now we come to the hands. So the hands, there are 2 techniques here in this tradition. One is you just put your hands out like this with your palms on facing the floor, and just place it on your knees, wherever it falls on your knees. So, and if this position is comfortable, fantastic. The second hand position is this. Put your hands out like this, palms facing up, and the right palm over your left, and then both your thumbs gently touching. Again, it's the right over your left palm like this, and your thumbs touching. So you bring it here to your chest, and just drop it. So wherever it falls, that way. Now your shoulders should be squared. It's so comfortable to kind of slump a little bit. It's a comfortable position, but it's squared. Now, why is it important to have a straight back? It's important to have a straight back because we have wind energies flowing within us. And when you have a straight back, the wind energy flows gently and smoothly. So your mind won't get agitated. And all these postures that I'm explaining, it's all to do with the wind energies, even within your legs and everything. So as I mentioned, they can write volumes about this posture. And Marpa was the translator. He was one of the most, in the Kagyu lineage, he's one of the forefathers of the lineage. So when he went to India and got all these postures, he said that these postures alone weighed in gold. They were so important. So it's coming, the posture, all these points are coming from those days, even before Buddha's time. And Buddha practiced it. Milarepa practiced it. Marpa practiced it. And they all became enlightened. It's not only the posture, but it is your mind as well. And so, but it's good to start with the posture. Now I've gone over the hands, and now your neck. So your neck should be slightly tilted like this, like your chin tucked in. So if this is your gaze, you're just slightly tucking your chin, slightly bending your neck, which means your eyes are going to be at a lower gaze. So keep your eyes in, and so in this tradition, we keep our eyes open. And if any of you all feel, okay, you want to close your eyes, perfectly all right. And I'll show you how to keep your gaze. So take your 4 fingers and just bring it to the tip of your nose. And wherever, 8 inches from the tip of your nose, wherever it falls, that should be your gaze. And your gaze can be on the table, and you can even do the gaze further. Like I like to keep my gaze up there. But it's not very good to keep your gaze very close to yourself, because then your mind becomes very limited. So once you found like a spot or a gaze, gently keep your gaze in that position. Now there's another key thing, is when you found that gaze, also bring your 2 hands to the the gaze right in front, and you'll be able to see when you do this peripherally all this as well. So it's a gentle gaze. See how if you just kept your gaze like that, it becomes very limited. But when you do this, it's like you can also see this, and you have a gentle gaze there. So that's the key, okay? It's like our Rinpoche gave us this analogy, which is like driving a car. When you drive a car, you're not really focused there, right? You can see everything, but your bare attention is on the road. And it's similar like that. So your lips should be resting naturally. The tongue should be touching on your upper palate. That's how it is, which is naturally it does that. And now your eyes are slightly going to be opened. And like I mentioned, if anyone finds that uncomfortable, you can keep your eyes closed. But slowly practice your eyes to be open, because this is what you can do once you get the technique, once you feel comfortable with your eyes open. See, when you close your eyes, why is it that you need to keep your eyes open? Because when you close your eyes, it's very easy for you to fall asleep. And what are we doing right now? With the eyes open, we are sleepwalking. So it's good, for us not to fall asleep. There are 2 things. If you feel like you're falling asleep, make your back straight. So, and keep your eyes gently half opened. As you get better and better, this is what you can do. If you feel very sleepy, then you can still have your neck slightly tilted, but you can look up. So this stops you from falling asleep. Or you can look up straight. And if you're feeling very agitated, there's a lot of stress that day, then you can lower your gaze. So these are some of the techniques we use. So we went over the body posture, now the essential point of the mind. So as I mentioned, the mind is the key. The mind does all your meditation. So we will be putting our minds, the mind needs an attention, the mind needs a focus, the mind needs an anchor, and the anchor, focus, attention will be placed on our breath. All you have to do is, it's a very simple thing. Sit up right with all the body postures that I've mentioned. And if you forgot the body posture, no problem. Just keep your back straight, okay? And then slowly bring your attention to your breath. So when you bring your attention to your breath, you should feel your breath going all the way in, and when it comes out, let your breath fill the entire space, and then just rest in that present moment of awareness, letting go of all your worries. And you may be very tempted to do some, I have some lists to do. This is a quiet moment. So when thoughts keep coming into your mind, when you notice thoughts coming, just say thoughts and acknowledge them and let go. Now, the things you should not be doing is stopping your thoughts or making your mind blank or any sort of contrivance. We've seen all these lovely yoga magazines which they're doing that, and then we also think that's what meditation is. No, that's not. The posture you do, and the most important thing is letting the thoughts come and go. And while you're doing your meditation, your mind will race over some thought, and then as soon as you catch yourself thinking, just say thinking and let go. And come back to your breath, okay? So, do we have any questions on this? Was it easy to understand? If you have any questions about the posture or anything, you're welcome to come and ask me any questions you have, and I can explain. Perfect. I knew I had a fantastic group. Wonderful. But again, anytime, if anything is confusing, feel free to ask any questions. I used to be one of the loudest when I was learning meditation. I had all kinds of questions. So we'll start the meditation, and what I'll do is I'll ring the gong and I'll give you a guided meditation. So before I ring the gong, as I mentioned, sit up in the position, and if you can't, whatever's comfortable, but keep your back straight. And if ever you want to go and sit on the chair, you're welcome, okay? Sit in the meditation posture. Sit upright. Inhale and exhale. Breathe normally. And as you inhale, see your breath going all the way to your abdomen in your own rhythm, in your own space, in your own time. And as the breath comes out, let your breath fill the entire space in front of you, and just rest in that present moment of awareness. Inhale and exhale. Breathe normally. And as you breathe out, let your air fill the entire space in front of you and just rest in that present moment of awareness. Any time you catch yourself thinking, acknowledge it. Don't engage in your thoughts. Say thinking and come back. Bring your attention back to your breath. Inhale and exhale. Breathe normally in your own rhythm. And as you inhale, let your breath fill the entire lungs. And then as you breathe out, let your breath fill the entire space in front of you. And just relax in that present moment of awareness. And the minute you catch yourself thinking, it doesn't matter how many times you catch yourself thinking, just acknowledge it, thinking, drop your thoughts, and bring your attention back to your breath. Okay, relax. So wherever you're sitting, you can relax, stretch yourself. You can stretch your legs. How easy was that? That was a whole 10 minutes. Y'all did superbly. Wonderful. Any thoughts, any questions, anything you want to share? Was that easy for 10 minutes? Wonderful. Anything you all want to share? Any questions? Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, I turned it on just a second ago. Yesterday you spoke about part of our posture having a smile on our face. Could you expand upon that just a little bit more? I noticed you were smiling this morning.
Thank you, Nicole, for reminding that. So the 7 postures that I mentioned, it really is in the tradition, but this is my own. I always find it easy when I sit to meditate. I always think it's such a wonderful experience I'm going to have. So let me have a smile in my face. So, what is the use of keeping all the world's problem on our shoulders? And look at all of us. We are living in such a wonderful country, and the city, we have everything we need. We all live in nice homes comparatively to the other countries. So why not be joyous? And why not be happy? And why not take things lightly? Why do we always have to carry all the world's problems? So this is one of the things, it's important to keep watching your mind. This is what our Rinpoche would say. Constantly watch your mind, what is happening. What are you thinking? And no matter under what circumstances you are, some of us may have a lot of anxiety or many things. Some of us may have a lot of stress. But try to be a little bit more joyful, because compared to what we have in this country and to the rest of the world, we have abundance. And so why not be joyous? And this is another good thing. What I have learned to do is in the morning, I get up and I say, the minute I wake up, I bring into my mind all that I'm grateful for. Gratitude. Look at us all. We must be having one of the best beds, to sleep in that. There's so many advertisements for wonderful beds, and I'm sure all of you all possess one comfortable beds. So being comfortable that I've had such a clean space, I can sleep in my own bed, and then think of all the freedom you have. Like today, all of you all just thought about it and said, I'm going to come to the center and I'm going to learn to meditate. So these are all the things. When you have gratitude, it brings a state of happiness, because you can't replicate happiness, a state of happiness in the mind. But gratitude is very easy. And then that's the having like a happy state of mind. Thank you. And so I feel like, when I meditate, I have all this leisure, because back in many countries, people don't have the leisure, like how all of you all have said, Sunday, I'm going to go and meditate. They have so many things to take care of. So why not have a smile? And also, a smile is so wonderful, where in the airport, I was lugging my bags, and the lady next to me, she was so lovely. She was like, she just smiled and she said, hello, do you need a hand or something like that? I was like, oh my God, Kansas City people are wonderful. And it made me so beautiful, wonderful. And it was your smile is also a generosity. When you smile at somebody, it's so you're giving back happiness to the world. And so smile is very, very important. And, this is my own take on meditation, sit with a smile. Any other thoughts? Anything you want to share?
Thank you for being here. We at the Rime Center, we practice a different kind of meditations. We have Zen meditation on Mondays, and Tuesdays we do Green Tara meditation. And when Thursdays is Medicine Buddha. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about Green Tara practice.
Sure, certainly. So Green Tara is one of the deities here, and she, the second picture, the center picture is of Green Tara. And around Green Tara, there are 20 other Taras. And Green Tara is a very important deity in the Buddhist tradition. If you, in almost all monasteries, without a doubt, we recite her prayers. We recite her prayers in the morning, Green Tara, and she, if you see her posture and if you look at it closely, her leg is always, she has a leg, even though she's sitting in the lotus position, one of her legs is always out. What that means is that she's very swift. So whenever if you have a connection with Green Tara, whenever you call on her, she is very swift. She's my name is Lama Aria Drolma, and Drolma is her name in Tibetan, and it literally means liberation. So we as nuns and monks, we pray to her spiritual guidance, because our ultimate goal is to reach enlightenment. So we pray to her, Mother, please let us not have any obstacles in the path. Please guide us till we become enlightened. And her story is amazing because she was born as a woman and she was very, very devoted, and she wanted to be enlightened, and she made a lot of offerings, and all the very importantly, she would meditate and pray. So some of the monks who saw her devotion said, those days, the men had more leisure than women. Women didn't have a lot of leisure. They had to take care of the families. They had to go and work in the field. They had to take care of many things. And so the men told her, maybe next life, if you're born as a man, you can, have more leisure and you can become enlightened. Excuse me. And she said, no, I will always be born as a woman and an example to all women, so that I can be enlightened as a woman. So that, and there are many, many stories, from Tibet, where when they were escaping, people were traveling from Tibet to India to Nepal. On the way, when there were obstacles, when they had to escape, they would call on her, and she would be so swift. Suddenly, the clear sky will be clear, and there'll be like rain or something like that when they saw people hunting them or coming after them. So there are many, many stories. I myself pray to her very often. All the tankas you see here, they are really deities who are here to protect the Dharma, to protect us on the path. Like, we need spiritual guidance. So they're not these are not just for artwork. The great masters in the past have seen them, and that is how they were able to make an image of them. So when you really want help, or when you want your spiritual practice or anything, you can call on them. And why? Because they're all enlightened, and by default the only thing that they want to do is help us, and they don't judge anyone. And enlightened beings, they feel so much compassion to us, because we really live in such illusion, and all they want to do is help us. So any figure, any tankas that you feel, even the Buddha, when you feel a connection, pray to them and say, I need your help right now. So with Mother Tara, I pray to her all the time, even when I want a parking space. And sometimes I get it, and sometimes I don't. But then, recently I had lost something very precious that Rinpoche had given me, and I had shifted my room and had moved back. And I prayed, I said, I really wanted that. And I had looked everywhere. And I'm a very organized person. And this special thing I could not find. And then I prayed. I said, Mother, you really have to find it for me. Oh, this is very urgent. And I think a day later, I went and again rummaged through my things, and lo and behold, it was there. So I pray to Mother Tara all the time, and you'll see all the monks and nuns who pray to her all over the world, all the monasteries, they have prayers for her. And so do make use of all these deities. They're there for you. And, even in the Bible, it says, when you ask, you'll receive. And that's where if you need anything, be confident and ask of them. So we have a few more minutes left. Any other thoughts? Any questions you all want to share? Wonderful.
Hello, thank you. When I was first beginning to meditate and receiving instructions on breath meditation, I always struggled with the point where I would have difficult release. I would try to always control my breath instead of observing my breath. And I was wondering if you could speak of the role relinquishment of control has in your meditation.
Wonderful question. Thank you so much. So it's about the breath. And there was one time when I was doing the meditation on breath, somebody, one of the students said, I don't know how to feel this breath. So what happens is, it's very simple. It's just putting your mind's attention on your breath, and you're going to be breathing naturally with your own rhythm, because everybody has different rhythms. And like I mentioned, your attention is going to be just like a bare attention on your breath. You're like just watching yourself breathe. What I do is, when I start my meditation, just for me to give a cue that I'm starting my meditation, you can also do this when you sit down. You can take 3 deep breaths, just to see how your breath goes. And this is how it goes when you take your first 3 breaths. This is the only time you will kind of exaggerate your breath. But when you start your meditation, it's you're putting your attention and you're breathing naturally, you're breathing normally in your own rhythm, and you're just putting your mind's attention. So the 3 breaths, this is how you do when you sit down. It's like the sigh is like you're getting rid of all your stress and all your day's anxiety. You're letting it go, all that negative energy. And then you sit and then you breathe normally. And you just feel your breath. And sometimes you'll breathe more focusedly, and sometimes you won't feel your breath, and it's all right. It's just a method. You're putting your mind's attention on your breath. I hope that answered your question. Thank you. Now we have a very few minutes, so why don't we do a little more meditation, and we will enjoy the day, this beautiful day. So this time I want to do a little bit of tongling. Apparently, a lot of you all know the tongling practice, but I'm going to do an abbreviated, a shorter version of tongling, because tongling is a longer version. It needs more time. And how this tongling meditation is, when you breathe in this time, think of, if you see all these tankas, these are all the Buddhas that we pray to, and they all exist. So you can think of all their blessings coming to you in a white light from your head to your toes and filling you with unconditional love. And then what you do from your heart center, Let that white light fill the entire space, all the sentient beings, and fill them with unconditional love. So when I started to learn meditation and I started to learn the Chenrezi practice, who's the Lord of Compassion, I really saw things shifting within me. I was attracting a lot of positive people, and that's when I knew there's something really, really profound. And that's why one time, my life switched from, being in the outer world and then becoming a ordained nun, because I said, I've really hit something very profound and I really want to indulge more in it. And that was why that's how I became an ordained nun. And so this practice of, also letting go and giving the positive energy to the entire sentient beings is very profound. It's a very profound practice. Tongling is a very profound practice. When you start your meditation, you can always end with it. So it's very simple. Just visualize all the Tangas, all the Buddhas, and sending you a white light of unconditional love and compassion, filling your whole body. Always love to yourself first, and then from your heart it goes out into the entire world, universe, to all the sentient beings. So we'll do that for a few moments. Please sit up, keep your back straight, and bring your mind's attention to your breath. And breathe normally. Inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, let your breath fill the entire space in front of you. And rest in that present moment of awareness. And just bring to mind all the blessings of great beings, noble beings, compassionate beings, the Buddha in front of you. And just be filled with white light of unconditional love from your head all the way to your body. And then from your heart, the light goes out to the whole sentient beings, to the universe, filling with white light of unconditional love and compassion. And just rest in that present moment of awareness. Okay, relax. Stretch a little bit. I know it was a little short. It felt even shorter because this is when you do positive things. It feels so wonderful and nice. And I also want to let you all know, thank you so much for coming, all of you all, on such a beautiful Sunday. And I want you all to pat your shoulders and say good on you, because what you did today was such a noble thing. You know, for this 1 hour when you were driving here, maybe it's 2 hours or 3 hours, your intention was so positive. You know, you did not have any intention to harm anybody, but to make yourself, you know, spiritually grow so you can give back. And this is such a blessing, your intention, what you came in today for your own growth spiritually. And then what happens? You are sowing seeds of happiness and love everywhere you go. And so this is a very noble thing that you have done.